Hello everyone, how are you all doing? First of all, very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone joining us from across Gujarat and beyond. On behalf of the entire AWS Student Builder Group's Gujarat team, I would like to welcome you all to the first ever AWS Gujarat Students Builder Week 2026. My name is Hardik Bandya. I am AWS Student Builder Group leader at BVM, and I am truly excited to be your host for this amazing journey. This initiative has been built with one simple goal to create a platform where students can learn directly from AWS experts, developer advocates, AWS heroes, and community builders and leaders through practical hands on sessions. Over the next 7 days, we will explore cloud computing, AWS services, real world architecture, security databases, networking, and much more. Most importantly, we want this to be an interactive learning experience, so don't hesitate to ask your questions in the live chat. Before we begin, I would like to thank all 12 AWS Student Builder groups, 4 AWS user groups, our speakers, volunteers, and every student who registered for making this community initiative possible. This event has been truly built by the community and for the community. So, without taking much more time, let's get started with day one of AWS Gujarat Student Builder Week 2026. Now, it's my privilege to introduce today's wonderful speakers. We are honored to have Lisa ma'am, lead content, education, and research AWS community groups. We will officially welcome everyone to AWS Gujarat Student Builder Week 2026. Thank you, ma'am, for taking the time to support this community initiative and inspire students across Gujarat and globally. Next, we have Nilasar, an AWS hero and CEO at Electromac and Cloud Kita, an incredible community leader. Nilasar has been actively helping developers and students learn AWS through practical knowledge and community initiative. Today, he will guide us through introduction to cloud computing with practical demonstration, helping everyone build strong foundation in AWS. We are also delighted to welcome Dimpleman, an AWS hero director at Electromac. We will be taking the session on cloud economics and billing. Understanding the cloud cost is essential skill for every cloud engineer, and we are excited to learn from her experience inside. A huge thank you to all the speakers for supporting students and being part of this journey. Without any further delay, I did like to invite Lisa ma'am to begin today's event with the welcome note. Lisa ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful, warm welcome, and hello to everyone. Good afternoon, good morning for me, and good evening for you. So, a sincere thank you for inviting me to help you all kick off the AWS Student Builder Week in Gujarat. To the AWS Student Builder Group leaders across Gujarat, the AWS user group organizers, the faculty members, and to the more than 1,500 students joining us tonight from across 14 colleges and 15 student builder groups, which is incredible. Namaste and welcome. So my name is Lisa Bagley, if you don't know me already. I lead content education and research for AWS community groups in our developer experience organization. And I am based in Seattle, Washington. I have to tell you, when this invitation came to me, I did not hesitate to accept it because this is something new. And what you're building here, this Gujarat Students Builder Week, is exactly the kind of initiative that makes me super excited to come to work every single day. Let me set some context for why tonight is special. Right now, across the world, there are thousands of students, just like you, sitting in their dorm rooms, sitting at their kitchen tables, trying to figure out how to go from learning about the cloud to actually building in the cloud. And the truth is that that journey can feel pretty overwhelming. AWS has more than 200 services. New launches are always on the horizon. Our technical documentation is vast and it can be complex. So the landscape and possibilities are constantly evolving. So the question becomes, how do you find your way? The answer, and the one that we see working over and over again in communities around the world, is that you find your way together. You find your way through shared community. And that's what the AWS Student Builder Group program is really all about. And what you're doing here is exactly that in Gujarat. I want to share something with you about what makes student builder groups different from just taking online courses or reading documentation on your own. First, when you're in communities like this, you learn by doing. When you organize a workshop, when you build a project together, when you're troubleshooting someone else's deployment at 2 a.m., that's not just studying, it's real work. And that's the kind of learning that actually sticks with you. Second, you're learning from each other. Every single person here tonight has a different background and comes to us with different strengths, right? Different specializations, different perspectives. One of you might be deep into machine learning. Another one might be passionate about serverless architecture. Someone might be working on an IoT project that could transform agriculture right here in Gujarat. So when you share those perspectives, everybody gets stronger. Third, and maybe most importantly, you're building a professional identity. When you lead a builder group event, when you present at a session like this one, when you mentor a junior member of your group, you step beyond your student role. You become a builder and you become a leader. And those skills translate directly into the career that you're going to build when you graduate. And for some of you that you're already building. So I want to take a moment to recognize what's happening right here and right now, because this is remarkable. 15 student builder groups, 3 user groups, 14 colleges, and an entire state coming together for a week of learning, collaboration, and community. This is the first statewide virtual learning initiative of its kind that we've ever had in the Student Builder Group program. Gujarat's setting a precedent. And you're showing the rest of the world what's possible when students and professional communities start operating together in synergy as a network. And that network effect is very powerful. It means that a student in Ahmedabad can learn from a workshop hosted in Surat. It means a group leader in Rajkot can share playbooks and run books with peers in Vadodara. It means that the collective knowledge of this entire community, all 1,500 plus of you, becomes accessible to everyone. And that's something genuinely new, and you should be proud of it. So I want to speak directly to the student builder group leaders for just a moment. What you do is not easy. I see it firsthand, right? You're students yourselves, you're balancing coursework, you're balancing exams and your personal commitments. And on top of all of that, you've taken on this responsibility for building community among your peers. You're organizing events, you're creating content, you mentor, you troubleshoot logistics and schedules and no-shows and last-minute changes. I see you. AWS sees you. And I want you to know that the work you're doing matters far beyond your campus. You're building the foundation for careers, not just your own, but for every student who walks through the door of one of your events and thinks, for the first time, I can do this. That's leadership. And it's the kind of leadership that technology industry needs more of. So over the next 7 days, you're going to be immersed in hands-on technical learning, workshops, demos, deep dives into AWS services, and more. You're going to hear from professionals who build with these services every day. You'll work through labs. You'll break things, hopefully. I hope that you do break things. And then you'll fix them, which is honestly where the best learning happens. You won't be alone, right? You're going to be doing it alongside 1,500 peers from across Gujarat. People who are at the same stage of learning in the same part of their journey, wrestling with the same questions and excited about the same possibilities and opportunities. So as you engage in technical learning alongside your peers during the course of this week, I want you to keep a few things in mind. First, please be curious beyond the curriculum. Follow the workshops, complete the labs, but then find something that sparks your interest. Maybe a service you hadn't heard of or a use case that connects to a problem that you've been thinking about. Pull on that thread. Ask your speakers, get engaged, ask each other. The sessions are the starting point, not the ceiling of what you can get. Second, be generous with what you learn. This one's a big one for me because I was a teacher for so many years before I came to AWS. If a concept clicks for you in a session, I want you to turn around and explain it to someone who's struggling. Post your notes in your group chat, record a quick walkthrough. The best builders aren't the ones who hoard knowledge, but they're the ones who multiply it. And honestly, teaching something to someone else is the fastest way to truly begin to understand it yourself. Third, I want you to build something. Don't let this week be purely theoretical. Even if it's something small, a simple Lambda function, a static website on S3, chatbot powered by Bedrock or Kira. Take what you learn and turn it into something real. That's the difference between knowing about AWS and being an AWS builder. And when you build it, I want you to share it out with your group. Celebrate each other's projects. Fourth and finally, stay connected with each other after Saturday. When the week ends, the community that you're building doesn't end. The relationships that you form this week, the group chats, the study partners, the peers who help you debug at midnight, those are your professional network. Nurture those relationships and keep showing up for each other. Keep building together. I want you to know that what you're doing this week isn't just about your own learning. This is about something bigger. Every workshop you attend, every project you build, every peer you help, you're strengthening the AWS Student Builder Group ecosystem across Gujarat. You're proving that student communities can self-organize, they can teach at scale, and they can create real technical impact. And the rest of the world is watching. AWS has student builder groups in more than 65 countries around the world. And when Gujarat shows what a coordinated statewide initiative looks like, 15 groups, 14 colleges, one shared mission, other regions are going to ask, how did they do that? And the answer will be through leadership, through community, and through the commitment of every single person who attends the event. I'll close with this. At AWS, we talk a lot about builders. We believe that builders create the future. And when I look at this initiative, and when I see 1,500 students from across Gujarat choosing to spend a week of learning and growing together, I'm absolutely confident that the future is in good hands. So thank you to the AWS user groups of Gujarat for your guidance and support. Thank you to every group leader who made this week possible. And thank you to every single one of you for being here tonight. Welcome to AWS Gujarat Student Builders Week 2026. Let's make it unforgettable. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words and inspiring all of us. Now, moving on to Nilesh sir will start the introduction to cloud computing. Handing over to you, Nilesh sir.
So, Hardik, before I start, we have few questions. If Lisa wanted to answer it, so that will be good actually. 3 or 4 questions.
Okay, sir, let me see.
So I'll read the question maybe.
Yes, sir, please.
So Jia Patel asked, can you please tell how, from where should I start, or I am a fresher of computer CSE branch. So that is a question.
Okay, so we would like to mention that for starting AWS, you are going to learn about what is the introduction, what is a cloud, like AS, PaaS, SaaS. Sir is going to explain you all the things. In order to get
Okay.
started with, you can join the AWS Builder Center where there are many resources. If you want to learn any new skills, everything is there. And as a student, I know there are lots of resources out there, and you would be confused like where to get started. Like there are multiple YouTube channels, there are multiple blogs, but at AWS Builder Center, everything is there. And by the end of the sessions, we will send you all the emails as well with the resources of the today's session.
So if it is okay, I can take some question. There are only 3. So let me start with the questions only, and then probably I can switch to my session. So where should I start of I am fresher of CSE? So this is the right point to start. Like you have already started the journey, right? You joined this session. So this is good point to start. So my suggestion is to start with Cloud Foundation, that what we are studying or maybe going to share some experience with all of you. Speakers are going to share some insight about what is Cloud Foundation, how you can start with some demo also. So that is just listen carefully, attend the sessions, and after maybe 6 days, if you have any again one more question, you can join certain community groups, student builder groups, and you will get your all queries satisfied, right? So I think keep some calm, keep some patience, and try other people to give answer. Don't be in hurry. Try to understand also, right? So you have started already. This is good point to start. I think one of the question is probably for all of you. Uh, how I can become campus leader ambassador. So any of you would like to attend this, that will be better. Anyone? Hardik, Harshil, Achyut, Tejashvi, anyone, you can answer this very well because you pass on to that journey, right?
Okay, guys, let me tell you. In order to become AWS Student Builder Groups leader, there's a process for it. First of all, you have to learn AWS. You have to do some contributions and learn the skills. Now, moving on to the process, it's like a 7-page form in which you have to fill your basic details. Then there are some management questions, and you have to ask for permission from your college. After that, you have to create a 5-minute video of explaining the AWS services. After that, you will be able to fill your form, and then the selection will happen. uh, it's currently July going on. The next batch will be onboarded into the November. So if you fill up the form now, you will be able to be part of the selection process in November if you get selected.
Great.
The process is very simple, but I would recommend all of you to learn AWS. You can contribute to your nearby user groups, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to any of us.
Okay, so let's keep this answer session maybe slightly later. We'll first concentrate on what we have planned, and we'll start with that. So let me start my session. So let me start with my first introduction. I'll share my slide. Yeah, it is there. So probably I'm Nilesh Wagela. Most of you know me, but let me again introduce myself. I'm Nilesh Wagela, AWS Hero. I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. I'm Pakka Gujarati chu, born and brought up in Gujarat. I am a AWS since around 2012, 2012, and I started my AWS journey from 2012, and we started the same journey in my commercial part as a company as well as community both together. So I am a CEO, Electromag Cloud Tech Private Limited. We are AWS Advanced Partner. at Ahmedabad and Gujarat. So probably we provide AWS services to our customer, handles a lot of things for our customer, manage a lot of services of AWS. And I would like to share my journey as well as my some of the experience how to start cloud computing, and we'll try to understand with some cloud concept overview today. So let's start. So we'll start with one kind of a story, introduction to cloud computing. What we'll try to understand is a complete story, how a college students like you, most of you, they wanted to start some project on host some project and try to scale it. So we'll try to understand with that journey that how you start with almost free and then scale yourself with the cloud computing. So let's try to understand this very well. So as my story start, meet Anaya. So like you, Anaya is third year computer science students at GTU. GTU is our just for example, actually, it's a university, Gujarat, famous Gujarat University. She and her friends build a college event management app for their fest is coming, and probably a lot of you are also participating in the event and fest and a lot of things. And the scale they want is 10,000 students across Gujarat will use it. What is the app is it's event registration, live updates, QR code checking, everything is there as you required a registration app, all the functionality. And the fest is in 3 week, so it's not much of a time. The question they have is, where do we host this thing? They don't have much idea as like students. Many of you have good idea, but some of you may not have exact idea how to start, where to start. So let's try to understand it. So Anaya asked her seniors, those who are not much cloud savvy, they are coming from traditional IT background. So this some of the senior like Nikhil says, easy, just buy a server and host it in the college lab. So they try to explore the traditional plan. So the task probably required some of the things like request server from a college IT department. It requires 1 week of paperwork, approval, and a lot of things. Then set up, install Linux and other softwares which will help us to host actually 3 days. Configure networking and security. Obviously, without security, you can't do that. Then security plus networking, you have to set up, so 2 days more. So total setup time will be 2 week. And how much time we have? 3 weeks. So only setup will take 2 weeks, and that will be leaves 1 week to build the actual application. So these are some challenges you might be facing because of certain delays and certain procedure you cannot avoid actually, right? The real problem, the hardware part. What we required, the traditional computing model infrastructure as a hardware that requires space. Obviously you have to put your server somewhere where you have good cooling and nobody will touch, or it keeps some safe physically also. So required staff, somebody need to maintain it, even electricity, cleanliness, heating part, everything you need to manage, even networking, internet, everything, right? Requires physical security. Let's say you have started everything, your app is working, and suddenly somebody has switch off the server. So what happened? So physical security is also required. Then capacity guessing, we'll try to understand this. How much scale is required? Long procurement cycle, this approval, getting server approval or hosting a website approval from college is not easy, or in terms of time. I don't say in terms of other things, but time approval is will take a lot of time. Then capital expenditure, you require 1.5 lakh approximately for a decent server. So the bad part, or the problem over here is we have not started even line of code, but you have already spent a week and a lakh rupees, right? I know you can start all the activity parallel, but if something goes wrong, then you can't actually work together, right? So the problem, I hope you understand. So now the twist in the plot. Everybody have a good friends. Like we see, there was a wonderful ad. हर एक friend कमी ना होता है, right? So we have good friends also. So what is a twist? So Anaya's internship friend. So Anaya, she has a friend called Mira, who interned at one of the startup. So they have some conversation on call. So Mira say, "Why are you buying a server? Does your chai stall own a cow? No, you buy milk as needed." So fair question, right? Every time we think like I wanted to buy a car and I end up with to establish a factory, not good idea. So similar things. So when I say, but I need a server, obviously, she don't understand. Like why this cow and why this server? So Mira explained, no, you need computing power. There is a difference. Let me show you something called cloud computing. The things are changing here now. We are thinking what is cloud computing. We are introducing cloud computing with this story. What is cloud computing? Right? So it's as simple as per the definition. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, database, storage, applications, and other IT resources via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. This is slightly complicated definition, so we'll try to simplify it. It's just renting someone else super powerful computers over the internet and paying only for what you use. Good, right? It's just example today's world. Ola or Uber versus buying a car, hotel versus buying a house. You can't buy a house everywhere you go, everywhere you travel. You have to go for hotel, right? Similarly, electricity from the grid versus your own generator. So generating electricity is not good if you are going for power plant, but nowadays we have solar plant, right? So everybody can have their own solar plant, and we call it edge computing in terms of cloud computing. So we'll come to that. You are going to learn that what is edge computing, what is hybrid computing. We'll try to elaborate something within your journey of 7 days. So now, what are the mindset? The key shift. Everything as a service. So we call it infrastructure as a software. So instead of thinking a hardware where you need to buy something, you need to own something, it is renting, right? So the mindset has been changed. From traditional IT, we call it buy it, own it, while in cloud, we call it rent it and use it. Flexibility. Once you buy, you stuck with that item, right? You don't have that facility to change something. Flexibility you lose actually. But in cloud computing, you can change is minutes. Like Ola or Uber, once you're getting a small car, second time your family trip, you'll get 7-seater car. Sometimes it is your birthday, you wanted to rent Mercedes, you can go for 1 hour Mercedes trip also, sort of thing. So you have good flexibility when you rent it, and it is easily available. Speed. You have seen approval take a lot of time. So in case of traditional IT, sometimes it is a month. I remember 12 years back we started our cloud journey. The server delivery time was 8 months. It's not what 1, 2, 3, 8 months. It was very heavy and very good server, and it was going to ship from outside of India, so it was taking 8 months. So today it may not take 1 or 2 or 3 months, but this war kind of situation might delay that, right? 2 3 months, 4 5 months. Here in cloud computing, minutes to hours. If time permit, I'll demonstrate like how you can host your application without knowing much of things. Then cost model, guess maximum pay upfront. So you have to pay everything upfront because you have to buy in traditional IT. But in case of cloud computing, it's like electricity. Whatever you consume, whatever you use, that is the only you are supposed to pay. Scaling. I have one server now, my capacity is full. So I need to buy second server. So again, the same process I need to follow. By that time, my customer will suffer. So here, scaling is just click a button, or even not a button. It is something called auto scaling. So it will start, scaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundreds of servers. Failure, replace the hardware. Something goes wrong, it is a downtime. You can't actually, work, in the sense your app is down, and there is a problem. But in case of cloud, it will be auto recover, or you can start, within minutes, right? So this is the key shift basically. Cloud lets you stop thinking of infrastructure as a hardware and start treating it as a software. So everything else comes as a service. So that is, benefit of cloud computing. So let's come back to Anaya. Mira help Anaya to sign up for AWS. So Anaya's experience, 10 o'clock, she sign up AWS account. Literally within 4, 5, 10 minutes, you can sign up account and launch a virtual server called EC2 instance. You will learn that. And around 10:07, she got a public IP address. It was released from AWS, just on demand. And 10:15, she deployed her app, and in 10:20, CompuBuzz, the app is live. So it's almost 20 or 30 minutes, right? And what is the cost? Zero, because it comes from the free tier. So this is something, power of cloud computing. You can start with almost zero, and we have not invested anything upfront, right? So the outcome is what would have taken 2 weeks, the traditional way, took only 20 minutes on the cloud. So that's, fascinating, right? Let's try to understand. But wait, what type of clouds? So many of you are learning this cloud computing at your college, and we'll try to elaborate those part also. You have better understanding, better clarity of what kind of cloud, right? So Mira says, before you go further, understand there are different levels of cloud services. How much do you want to control versus how much do you wanted AWS to handle? So generally in our terminology, we call unmanaged services and managed services. So you have to do combination. How much you want to control and how much AWS wanted to use. AWS managed services to be used. Right? So cloud services model, the pizza analogy. The model is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So what you manage in case of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So in case of infrastructure as a service, we manage operating system, application, data, runtime. What they manage is hardware, network, and storage, right? So this is pizza analogy. Buy ingredients, make it home. So you bring everything and make your pizza at your home. PaaS is just your code plus data. So AWS manage everything. Order that kit, add toppings. So the only you add a topping and you have ready-made kit. Just cook. That's it. You don't require to buy ingredients. SaaS, nothing, just use it. Everything is managed by AWS. It's kind of order Domino Pizza or Pizza Hut or whatever you like. So I hope you understand the analog. So slightly more detailing infrastructure as a service. Give me the raw building blocks. I will build everything myself. So sometimes you need this. You have a software or application or tools or solution which required to control a lot of things. And in that case, infrastructure as services come into the picture, right? We manage everything: OS, patches, application deployment, scaling, everything. And AWS services examples are EC2, VPC, EBS. These are some of the infrastructure as a services. It can be networking also, but these are the example services. What is analog? Renting an empty flat, walls and plumbing exist, but we have to bring all the furnitures, right? Best part, infrastructure as a service is, the recommendation is your full control need, custom configurations, migrating existing application, kind of lift and shift as it is. You wanted to shift to the cloud. So we call it lift and shift migration. So in that case, infrastructure as a services will help us a lot. But platform as a service, what it is, give me a ready platform, I'll just deploy my code, right? So we are getting pre-configured runtime environment. What we need to manage, just your application code and data, that's it. And AWS examples are Elastic, Beanstalk, Lambda, RDS, where you bring your code, the rest of the things or data, or you bring your data, rest of the things will be managed by AWS. What is analog? Renting a furnished flat, just bring your clothes and move in, right? So everything is ready. You are bringing clothes and just moving. Best for developers who wanted to focus on code, don't want to manage OS and patches, and rapid prototype. Fast, you wanted to do something fast, right? So that is platform as a service. Software as a service. Probably you know all the tools you are using: Android, Gmail, Amazon.com, everything considered as a software as a service, right? It's a complete working application, right? Nothing, just your data and preferences. That's it. Gmail, Slack, Zoom. What I told you. AWS example is AWS Marketplace application, SES, SNS, lot of other things. Analog is staying at a hotel. Everything is done for you, right? Best for end users, not for developer. Standard business tools, no customization needed. So here everything is ready. You have to just use it, right? Now Anaya's choice. Anaya says, I wanted to focus on building campus bus, not managing servers. So she don't want to manage servers. She wanted to focus on building the application. So her decision is app backend, that is Elastic Beanstalk, just deploy code, a database, RDS, that is again platform, file upload is S3. It is like infrastructure as a service, but storage is managed by AWS. So she picks mostly pass, lets AWS handle the boring stuff while she focusing on the application development. Okay. So I hope you have better understanding, clear understanding about infrastructure as a services, platform as a services, and software as a service. Fine. So cloud deployment model. So that was like service model, and now we are trying to understanding something called deployment model. So NIS professor asked, but what about companies that can't put everything on cloud? Today also there are certain companies who will not put everything on the cloud. So there are three deployment models. The model is cloud, hybrid, on-premises. So cloud means everything run on cloud. This is very good for startup and modern application. We call it cloud native application. Hybrid, mix of cloud and on-premises. Banks and hospital can utilize that hybrid. On-premises, cloud-like tech, but your data is in your data center. It can be for different defense mechanism kind of DRDO or ISRO. Probably they don't want to share data anywhere, so for them it is kind of on-premises can be work. So cloud deployment, all in on the cloud. That means everything runs on cloud provider, kind of AWS, Azure, GCP, and other clouds. We are focusing on AWS. No physical hardware, maximum flexibility, scalability. Anaya's app 100% cloud deployment. So Anaya want 100% on cloud deployment because she don't have kind of a data that qualified to that. Who uses this? Netflix, everything is on AWS. You might be wondering, like Netflix is everything on AWS. A lot of startup is using this. All modern applications they are using this. Anyone who wanted to speed plus scale plus security, which is something critical, they all use cloud. And AWS is one of the best cloud to start with. Hybrid deployment, probably as already I explained, something stay at home and something goes to the cloud, right? The home and cloud is a mix, so we call it hybrid, right? It's called hybrid deployment. Sensitive data stay on premises, non-sensitive data workload go to the cloud. Connected with secure link, kind of VPN or point-to-point direct connects. Just for example, a bank keep customer record on premises, kind of RBI, sort of RBI regulation, but runs their mobile app analytics on AWS, right? So this is one example. The data will be crucial or critical data under the compliance level. If it is compliance level, will be running on premises, but other things can be running on the cloud. Who uses this? Banks and financial institutions. A lot of NBFCs today are on cloud. Healthcare companies, they are doing a lot of analytics on the cloud. Organization, regulatory transition. So a lot of people are started using cloud. And in today's world, AI world, if you wanted to start anything on cloud, that's one reason is AI, right? Most of you are using AI, but when you build something and when you wanted to create something from scratch without cloud, you don't have chance to do that because the GPU cost start from lakhs to in terms of crores also, right? So that we cannot afford. On premises, private cloud, so everything runs on our data center. That's we call private cloud. But AWS have that solution also. AWS have something called Outpost. That AWS hardware, whatever their hardware running on the cloud, that comes to your data center and you are running in your data center. That Outpost is a hardware, AWS hardware in your data center, right? So that is already there. And those who wanted to use, you can use Outpost. The control plane is AWS. You have to register Outpost to the AWS and your data, services, compute, everything runs on Outpost. Who uses this? Defense, military, government agency, a lot of other people, right? Now, first day arrived. Finally, the D-days, right? Judgment day sort of things. 8,000 students hit campus bus simultaneously, right? Anna had used traditional hosting. If it was traditional hosting, what happened? 400 content users. What she bought, right? Actual users are 800. Festival day. It will crash and student will be angry. Consumer will be angry and everybody is frustrated, right? So now what happened? In case of cloud, normal days, one small server will work, which is 550 rupees per day. First day, auto scale happens. We have 10 servers running. So 500 for that particular day. Next day, The fest is over, registration is over, everything is over. So again, back to the one server, 50 rupees per day. Zero downtime, and we are happy. You all are happy. All students are happy, right? So magic of the cloud, 6 advantages. Most important thing, if you understand cloud, this is the most important thing because AI workload required, cloud. Everything, most of the AI workload runs on cloud, right? Without that, very less possibility. So we have 6 advantages and Anayas experience. Straight capex for variable expenses, so we don't need to pay. Massive economy of scale. AWS passes bulk savings to her. So AWS has revised its cost, reduce 140 plus time. 140 times AWS reduced their rate of the services, right? So why? Because they order massive. Once you buy like smaller things, one piece, you have to pay exact amount. But if you buy 500 piece, probably the cost will down heavily. Increase speed and agility. Live in 20 minutes. I skip the third one to stop guessing capacity. Obviously, you understand auto scale starting from one server on the event day. We have 10 servers and come back next day one server. So it's kind of you don't require to guess the capacity, which was highly required in terms of on premises. Now increase speed agility. You understand. Stop spending on data centers. No servers. No server room required. No maintenance required. Go global in minutes. You can start very quickly, right? These are the advantage. I'll try to elaborate the main important point. The trade capex for variable expenses. So whatever the capital expenditure is turned into the variable expenses, and you add flexibility. Traditional thing, you have to invest 1.5 lakh, maybe more than that. You will understand economics, cloud economics, and billing process slightly later. Maybe this just after my session. Start in cloud, we have to start with zero, pay 50 today, 500 on first our first day, and again 50 rupees tomorrow. You are paying for what you actually use, not what you might need, right? So need is different and your use is different, right? So in case of traditional things, in cloud it is matching exactly. Whatever you are using, it's your need as per your need. No guessing about future usage, no sunk cost in project fails, cash flow friendly for students and startup. Advantage to massive economy of scale. You understand that, right? You buy one hard disk at 5,000 rupees. When you buy 10 million hard disks, probably the cost down to the 1,500 of each, right? So that is something very cheap. It's called massive scale of economy. AWS passing that discount to the customer. Stop guessing capacity. You can see the traditional and cloud computing have different over here, right? You don't need to guess your capacity. You set up auto scaling, it will automatically scale as per your need and even scale down as per your need. If no users are there, less users are there, you are paying less because you are consuming less. And when your customers customer requests are very high, you scale up and you use more power, right? So scale up and scale down will be adjusted automatically. You have to adjust it. Increase speed and agility. So we already seen that traditional IT requires 3 to 4 weeks. Actually, we have done it few minutes. These are the comparison actually. So the outcome for Anaya is Anaya tested 3 different database options in one afternoon. Traditional IT, that's a 3 month evolution cycle, right? So you have to install here. You can start 3 database parallelly, 3 servers, maybe for a few hours or few days. Once you test, whatever runs well, you can keep it. Another 2 can be discarded. So evolution is very fast. stop spending on data centers, right? So traditionally, if your core business is not data center, why you wanted to spend more money on data center, right? So you start concentrating on building your product, building your application, everything, right? So outcome is let AWS worry about cooling, power, and security guards. You focus on your customer, your business, what you are good into that. You are not into data center. Why you wanted to build data center? Whether I'll manufacture my car, mobile, or anything, right? Go global in minutes. Nowadays, everybody want to go fast. I wanted to start business in US. I can't put my data center in US immediately. I require a lot of things. But in case of cloud, spin up your server in AWS. There are many regions in USA. Just spin up server and that's it. You start it just minutes. Australia, you want to start your business. Spin up a server from India to Australia and start your business there, right? So many companies started that way and they're growing also. AWS has around 38 regions worldwide. So you can deploy anything at any time. What is AWS exactly? Anna is using AWS, but what is it really? So AWS is nothing but a very secure cloud platform offering a broad set of global cloud-based products, on-demand access to the compute, storage, network, database, and many more things. Service works together like building blocks. It's kind of Lego blocks. Lego blocks, right? You have to create a lot of things. Think a Lego. Each AWS service is a brick. You assemble them to build your own solution. You may not require everything. You may require few things. So you require a lot of things. Whatever fits in your solution, you use it. That's it. Everybody's needs is different. What are the web services? Under the hood, AWS, everything is web services. Probably you already know API. So it's kind of a API. Web service is a kind of API. Make itself available over the internet. Uses standard format called JSON or XML or YAML for communication. You send a request, get a response. So that's what API, right? Your app send a request in JSON format, data or something, and request. An AWS service, AWS evaluate or compute or get the data, compute your data, and give a response back in JSON format, right? Every AWS action, launching server, upload file, query DB is an API call. So everything is web service. Everything as a service is an API call. So the service category, the building blocks. So these are the list of the services. You are going to learn few of them. AWS has 200 plus service across 25 categories. So we have a lot of categories, right? So ANA's architecture, everybody want how ANA build what. So we have on the top we have a load balancer we call network. So user comes to the CloudFront send the request to the load balancer, then it comes to either server or container, and from server or container, the compute part, they will send a query to either database or S3 or Lambda to perform certain additional things, right? So this is very simple, very simple and very good architecture. So the box are AWS services, each line is API connection, and I assemble this like a Lego to build campus bus inside build, right? 3 way to interact with AWS. You have a console, in the sense web console. You can try CLI. CLI is one of the most important part. You have to terminal. If you wanted to be a best in cloud, CLI is your way. Automation can only be done through CLI. It's very difficult in console because you have to click everything. In CLI, you have to write a file, you have to write, your commands, and you can automate very easily, right? But for beginners, console is good to understand all the thing is good. SDK is for the developer. If you're a builder, if you're building some application, if you're creating some solutions. If you're a developer or maybe small programmer that's building applications, so SDK is for you, software development kit, right? How to launch server for CLI? We have AWS EC2 run instance kind of a command, and SDK Python you have to use Boto library, and this will the way we can run. Both do the same thing. So this is a side-by-side comparison, but firewall, security group, network. So these are left-hand side are traditional things and right-hand side are AWS equivalent. So probably many things you know already, or you can compare easily. So I'm not touching as of now in detail. You're going to learn all of them because you don't have that analog as of now. But in traditional IT, you use firewall, router switches, load balancer, physical servers, storage like SAN or NAS, Oracle or MySQL database, Active Directory kind of authentication and authorization, tape backup for archive. So right hand side we have equivalent AWS service. Almost everything you can do in traditional IT, you can do on AWS. Faster, cheaper, and more flexible, more efficient way. So moving to the cloud, it's not just tech. After 6 months later, Anaya's professor invited her to present at the tech conference. A CTO asked, "We want to move to cloud." They wanted to move to the cloud, but it is not just about services, right? Anaya says, right. Whenever college tried to officially adopt AWS, it wasn't just the compute services or computer science department involved, right? So there are a lot of environment you need to involve. And for that, AWS, one of the things called CAF, AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. I'll go slightly quickly over here. So AWS CAF is nothing but 6 perspective. So perspectives are business, people, and governance, and then platform, security, and operational, right? So we'll see one by one. If you wanted to adopt cloud or any organization wanted to adopt the cloud, they have to do this, cap sort of things, how much they are ready and what are the gaps they need to fill. My management is ready and my technology is ready, my staff is ready, right? So a lot of things it will give and give the plan like what you are supposed to do, right? Business and people perspective. We must ensure IT is aligned to the business needs. This is sometimes missing. IT has to support the business, otherwise there is no meaning of IT, right? So you can see the stakeholders are business manager, finance strategy, right? Here not technical staff. So in Anayas College, it is director asking, will this help us to attract more students? What is the business of college? They want more students, right? So that is their final goal, how they can serve more students. So that's a business perspective. People perspective. So what is the main part? We must train and prepare our people for this change. So who is going to do this? HR people, staffing people, and people managers, right? They require to develop certain skills with the help of training, career management, organizational changes, right? In Anayas College, IT staff needing AWS training, role changing from server admin to the cloud engineer. This is called people perspective. CAF. CAF perspective governance, right? We must align IT strategy with business strategy at minimum risk. So here comes CIO, program manager, enterprise architect, right? So capabilities is portfolio management, license management, business performance measurement, everything we need to do. So in Anayas College, what it analog? Are we compliant with data protection rules? What's the TCO, right? So now it comes to TCO. So that is called governance perspective. Platform perspective. We must describe the target architecture in detail. So now it's come technical part. Platform comes in technical. So now you see CTO, Chief Technology Officer, solution architects, IT managers. Now we are talking about technology. How do we design VPCs? Which services replaces our legacy systems? So this is our platform perspective. Security perspective. We must ensure the organization meets security objective. So there CISO, security manager analysis comes. Security manager analysis, identity management, data protection, incident response. How do we do that? In NIS college, student data is sensitive. How do we encrypt? Who has the access? Right? So these are some perspective of security. Operational perspective. Now, once you deploy everything, somebody need to run it. And whether it is running okay or not, you have to monitor it. We must support business operation day to day. So in IT operational support managers, kind of SREs, monitoring, release management, disaster recovery, everything. In NIS college, what happens if the exam portal goes down? Who's to call? Who's on the call? Right? Everything about incidents, that my service is running okay or not. Anas, take from the conference. Cloud adoption is not just a tech decision, it is an organizational transformation. So you have to consider this. If you are very small, that is fine. If you're a large company, it's not just technology, it's a organization transformation or shift, right? So you have to take consideration of business, people, governance, platform, security, and operations to successful cloud adoption. I hope everybody got better idea. So what is Anaya's complete journey that we started? Week 1, problem, where do we host? Let's see Discover Cloud, right? Then week 1 only, learn infrastructure as a services, platform as a services, and software as a services, right? Week 2, deploy 20 minutes versus 2 weeks, traditional, right? So within 20 minutes you could start. Week 3, fast day, auto scale up from 1 to 10 servers. And month 2, went global, added Delhi region in 10 minutes. Month 6, she presented her paper into conference and learned about CAF, Cloud Adoption Framework perspective. And today, the Campus Bus is a startup serving 50 colleges. So this is a journey. We try to understand how cloud will play a vital role in startup, in organization, or anywhere. Cloud can help you to start your journey at middle level, top level. It will help you a lot. So I hope by this example, you'll understand some of the perspective of cloud. Again, it's not just a technology, it's everything about environment. So 10 key takeaway. Cloud, on-demand IT resources that we have seen. Think infrastructure as a software. We learn IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. We learn 3 deployment models, cloud, hybrid, on-premises. We understood 6 advantages. You also discussed something, building blocks, kind of a Lego, right? You also understood something about 3 ways to interact, console, CLI, SDK. You also try to understand traditional IT map directly to AWS equivalent. So we have some mapping, like network, VPC. Cloud adoption need all 6 CAP perspectives. So we understood that 6 perspective, 3 technical, 3 non-technical, managerial sort of thing. 10. Almost anything in traditional IT can be done better on cloud. Remember, don't blindly select cloud. It has to be strategy. You have to strategize everything. Don't blindly adopt anything. I don't say only cloud, anything. You have to design, you have to understand everything, and then only you will get good success, right? And fortunately, we have some free tier. So I think next session will be on economics and billing. So we'll understand what is free tier or how this cloud cost works, right? And you have to be very sure because now cloud cost is a part of solution architecting, technical people. Okay. So this is a quiz, but I'm not taking as of now. Sample exam if you wanted to go ahead with this. So I'm also not. I'll share these slides. What is your next step? So again, somebody asked about journey. So what you need to do? Sign up for AWS Free Tier account. Launch your first EC2 instance. Explore the AWS Console. Try deploying a simple HTML page on S3. Next module, you are going to learn about economics and billing. And these are some resource path. If you are in your college or university, you might have access to AWS Academy. And with the help of AWS Academy, you don't require a credit card to start your account with AWS. In case of free tier account, you require a credit card or maybe UPI account for free tier. Right? Free tier information will be available in next session. So guys, Anaya started with a college-based app and ended up building a startup, all because she understood the cloud. Your cloud journey start with one click. Yes or no, you have to decide, right? So that's almost end of my presentation. Let me see any questions. Uh, do you want all the question right away or what do we need to do? Okay, let me try to check it out. Let me check. I'm checking. Okay, I'll go from latest to the few question from latest to the previous one because there are a lot of question maybe. I'm using physical server and wanted to shift to the cloud. Then how can I choose better cloud provider among all of this? So how do you choose better cloud service provider? There are certain parameter you can depend on. One is downtime. Check which cloud service provider have minimum downtime. Some of the cloud service provider even don't publish their downtime. So check who has the less downtime overall. Check also maximum services available, right? And check who support better communities, right? In the sense who can help you fast. What are the resources available very easily? Maybe training purpose, maybe learning purpose, or maybe documentation purpose, anything. These are some questions you have to identify. If you feel like that questions are answered by any of the one of the cloud service provider, you start with that. But I bet on cloud services, AWS have better documentation, better community, better people to answer you. So that was my first answer. With generative AI growing so rapidly, do you think it shifts most cloud development towards PaaS, or will infrastructure service remain equal important? So this question is not for foundation, but yes. So everybody is trying to find out the answer about what happened with AI. So it's not easy answer, or probably it's difficult to give any answer. But yes, IaaS will be there because where AI will run, you require infrastructure to run AI. So AI is even though AI will grow a large extent, infrastructure as service will be remaining there. Maybe end user will not use it, but AI will be using it. Uh, I answered that I wanted to move to the cloud, so choose something like this. If you want, you can try. Why most of the people talk about AWS, also Azure too. But why AWS? I already answered, right? These are the questions you have to ask. If all the questions has lead to AWS or any other cloud provider, you go for that. Why we can't use AWS or GCP? That's fine, whatever you use. But I insist, like, explore AWS first because they are the starter. Cloud concept started by AWS. So obviously they have better range than Azure and GCP. How to start? Yes, you have to start console, then start understanding automation. And if you have slight edge towards, developer, nowadays you don't require to development. You can ask AI to go for, build something, and you can use Boto 3 library or whatever, Node.js, whatever you want to use, and you can create, some application also. So we do data sync processes and start in any country? I don't understand exactly question. Anybody have idea how AWS uses it? No, then contact me. I have already one web. I don't understand this also. I already explained like what you can do and start your journey today. Maybe you have attend certain session to understand that easily. I think I don't have much doubt. So if you wanted to ask, you can ask. How I use S3. So just attend probably storage session. You'll understand how to use S3. What is CDN? Anybody explain it? Yes. So again, today is the first session, cloud computing. So you learn that CDN also. CloudFront, you will use it. How to use CloudFront also. Okay. So cloud computing is fair enough friendly, but you have to work hard. You have to understand it very well to build your career. Last question probably I'll take. I have activated my student AWS account few months back and now it is going to expire soon. What to do now? Uh, I don't think there is something called student AWS account. It should be AWS Academy account. AWS have something called free tier account. You can start free tier account. You will learn that economics part slightly later in this second session. So for automation, you have to slightly, wait for that. You have to go for architecture level kind of, this is slightly related to foundation. First, you have to clear foundation, then you have to go for automation. With the increased adoption of cloud technologies, what are the most important security skills students should focus on learning? This is slightly higher level question, but yes, introduction of more services required more understanding about security. So if you understand better AWS services or any cloud services, you can have better security understanding also, because every services have different kind of skill required. Like AI also require different kind of skill for security. Okay, I what skill in AWS we focus for future perspective. First, understand this 6 days foundational sessions. You'll automatically understand where you wanted to focus. There are a lot of things, you can't focus just one. Next, virus ban, we don't have visibility for 1 year even, because AI can do anything. Full stack is the way you develop the application, right? Approaching. So AWS is right platform for anything. You are already part of AWS community because you are attending this. So connect to students builder leaders, actually group leader, they will help you. Again, a lot of questions, so we'll try to consolidate the question and send the answer on this, because we have second session waiting for. So I request all of you to, let's conclude here. We'll go for the second session, and most of the answer will be available once we progress these sessions. Okay. AWS Skill Builder is one of the best. So instead of books, go for the AWS Skill Builder. And thank you all. I hope I have given some of the answer. I don't think the time to this is the right time to have all the answer, because some of the questions are slightly ahead of our time. So you will learn that in next sessions, right? Many sessions are there, 6 days. So you learn a lot of things, and keep some patience. Don't be hurry. A lot of your questions will be automatically answered, right? And rest of the question we'll try to answer, consolidate it, and answer it. So Hardik, over to you. Do you
Hey,
have idea
yes, sir.
like how I can share my screen over here so I can demonstrate?
Yes, you can, sir.
But I don't understand how to share. Yeah, I have
You,
share screen. Yeah, I have
yep,
share screen.
yep, sir.
Fine. So you can see this is a bin stock. We are creating one application. I have ready code. So I'll say create application. Some of the things I have made pre already there. So I'm demonstrating. One of the easiest thing, no brainer. I'll choose the platform. Other things are as it is. So my app is a Node.js. So it will automatically select. So this is a platform. Node.js platform will be ready for me. I have upload my code. I need to upload my code. So I'll say upload my code. This is my second monitor, so I'm watching to that. version is v1, and I'll upload from local file. I'll choose the file, event registration zip. So I'll say select. So it's a zip file, and you can see the options: single instance, free tier eligible, single instance using spot instance, HA part, high level using spot and on-demand instance, and custom configuration. So based on your selection, it will automatically spin up everything for you: load balancer, EC2, database, and whatnot, right? So I'll say next. I need to select certain things. The role you need to create, you understand this role on, once you understand the security part. So everything will be as it is. I'll say skip and review, and I'll go create. So you can see it has started. Elastic Beanstalk is launching your environment. What I did is I just zip my code. All the code is in zip file, and just I'm uploading. I've given that code to Beanstalk application called Beanstalk. It is progressing. See, you can security group. It is creating environment health is pending. It is creating all the things. I need to refresh. You can see it got IP also. EBS security group also something created stack. S3 storage bucket is created. You can see waiting for EC2 instance to launch. It is going to launch the instance and install all the required software into EC2 instance, and it is up and ready. Zip file can contain a lot of things. Better you select initially single language. If you have multiple language, you need required custom configuration. Then Beanstalk is not good. Beanstalk is only good for very simple things, very quick and simple. So you see, to launch will take 5 minutes maximum. So you see this everything is green over here. This will take few minutes. We can calculate how much minutes it is taking. We have 21 to 22 to almost it is going to have 2 minutes. Let's just wait. So this is just small demonstration because it is just starting point, right? We are starting our journey. Successfully launch environment. Demo web app environment is created. Instance is also completed. Deployment completed successfully, and my environment is ready. So my app is ready. That's it. So let's check. So app is ready for all of you. It's just demo app. So I can actually try registration. Nilesh Wagela register. So it is registered. I can give this also to you just for testing purpose. You can register yourself and try. Let's see. Once few people try, I will probably stop. You can see it is AWS Elastic Beanstalk. I recommend two language for web application or application API based, Python and Node. If you do system programming, then Rust, Go, or Java. Anybody tried this? It's just in there is no real database over here, but to register actually. Link I have given in chat. I think I can see I have already pasted the link. I'll try one more. Okay. What I'll do is we'll try something else also. I've created small app actually. Uh, so let's try this QR code. Everybody, can you scan QR code? This will it's a poll actually. I just created a small poll app. Let's see. Response 12, 17, 21. This is hosted on AWS and almost free of cost because the technology I use is serverless. So it cost me 1,000 poll, maybe less than 1 paisa. Let's see the result percentage. So we have reliability. What is the best cloud use case for you? So most use case we got is security. Then we have performance and scalability. So we got highest percentage on performance, security, and reliability. People don't want cost. Cost is the most important part in case of cloud computing, but yes, it's fine. And reliability is also very important part. But yes, it's your perspective. So thank you for participating in poll. I've just created within probably 1.5 hours only. I'll publish this on GitHub also. If you wanted to create this kind of app or this app exactly, you can host it and it costs you very less because Nothing is running. No computes, no database, nothing. Okay. Fine. So thank you all. It's almost 84. We have only 68 people, but sometimes you might have restricted multiple IPs, but if your IP is changing, you might get more. So this is increasing, right? People who might have changed scalability is now less, but anyway, let it be. So thank you guys. I'm not able to answer all of your question. I'm very sorry, but most of the answer you will get in your journey, and we are with you. All student builder user groups are also with you.
Thank you, sir, for the amazing sessions. And I know you guys have a lot of questions, so we have created AWS Student Builder Groups Week, a special space on AWS Builder Center where we will share all the resources with you. And if you have any kind of questions, we will answer you everything there. And the slides of today, GitHub repo, everything will be there. So you guys don't have to look for all the materials other places. Everything will be there into the AWS Builder Center spaces. And thank you again for the session, sir.
Thank you and all the best.
Now I would like to invite Dimple ma'am to the stage. Handing over to the you, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am is coming soon. Until ma'am arrives, let me give some answers regarding the certifications that many people were asking. So, in order to get the certification of completion of AWS Gujarat Builder Week, you have to create at least one blog or you have to create a mini project. And for that, we will send you the link of it at the end of the sessions on the 7th day. And all the details will be in the AWS Builder Center spaces. Ma'am is back here, so handing over to you, ma'am.
Hello. Uh, just a minute. My screen is sharing. Good evening, all. I am Dimple Waghela, Director and CFO at Electromech Cloud Tech Private Limited and Cloud Kida Private Limited. And for AWS Community Journey, I am AWS Community Hero. I am Community Heroes have been selected November 2025. And I am also AWS User Group Leader, Ahmedabad and Vadodara. AWS Women in Tech Leader, Gujarat. And I have a 10 plus years of the cloud experience. So, just a minute. My screen, my sc- band. Uh, let's understand the AWS Cloud Economics and Billing through the journey of Raj, online bookstore business. How a small bookshop owner learned to run a business in the cloud without breaking the bank. Meet Raj, an owner of a bookshop in Ahmedabad named Kitabghar. His customer frequently ask him, "Can we order online?" Just a minute. Okay. So he wants to he wants to start an online business. So he approached the IT consultant and asked him for the quote. The IT consultant shared the quote for uh, for the IT business, start his business. Two physical servers cost 4 lakh rupees. Networking equipment 1 lakh 50,000 rupees. Data center space for 1 year 3 lakhs rupees. IT admin salary 1 year 6 lakhs rupees. Software license 2 lakhs rupees. So 16.5 lakhs total upfront cost. Raj has not sold a single book online yet. So before starting his business, he must invest 16.5 lakh upfront. This is a traditional IT model and also called capex expenditure. What is the capex expenditure? Cap- Capital expenditure means spending a large amount of money upfront to start your business, to purchase your assets and infrastructure. The problem of the capex, capital expenditure for traditional IT, heavy upfront investment in IT, uh, in traditional IT, to buy a physical server, storage devices, software licenses, IT staff, and maintenance contract, data center facilities, etc. So business require huge capital investment even before the start the business. Second one is buy hardware for peak capacity. In traditional IT, you must purchase enough infrastructure to handle your maximum expected workload, even it's used only once or twice in a year. Then 3 to 6 months to procure and set up. Purchasing and installing infrastructure may take the time for 1 month or 6 months approx, right? And you maintain everything: failure, patches, cooling, electricity expenses, etc. And hardware depreciates, worthless in 3 to 5 years. So organizations must continuously manage hardware failures, software upgrades, then security patches, data center operations, ongoing maintenance, and if business fails, money is gone. Your investment was lost, right? So you are paying for what you might need, not what you actually use. So Raj meet his college friend Priya in a chai stall. She runs a successful online fashion store. Priya says, "Raj, do you own a delivery truck to ship books?" Raj says, "No, I use courier service. I pay per parcel. Priya said, then why would you buy servers? Just rent computing power. You only pay for what you use. So Priya introduced Raj to cloud, AWS Cloud. So the cloud way, OPEX model. Instead of paying 16.5 lakh upfront, Raj can use AWS. No upfront cost. Start with zero. Launch servers in a minute. Pay only for what you use, for your actual uses, right? Scale up and scale down whenever you need it. For Diwali time, you scale up, and after the Diwali, after the seasons, scale down. AWS manages hardware, security, cooling, etc. Go lives in a minute, no month. If business fails, just stop, no sunk cost, reduce financial risk, avoid purchasing hardware. So, capex, this shifts the model from capital expenditure to operational expenditure. In capital expenditure, pay a lot before using, and in operational expenditure, pay only when you use. So, capex to opex is the fundamental shift in cloud economics. Now, capex versus opex visual comparison. Let's compare two financial approaches visually. In traditional IT, capital expenditure. Let's see. Capacity, fixed infrastructure purchase for peak demand, right? In traditional IT environment, organization must purchase enough infrastructure to handle their peak demand. Even peak demand comes only once or twice in a year. Then usage. Most resources remain unused. Most is wasted. The gap between purchase capacity and actual uses, most of is wasted. Servers are ideal, storage remains unused, network capacity is underutilized. Then cost. Large upfront investment plus ongoing maintenance cost. Big upfront payment and ongoing maintenance cost. So with capex, high investment before the business start. Cost remain fixed regardless of actual uses, and financial risk is high. So this model requires organization to predict the demand accurately, and which is very difficult, right? Now, cloud OPEX model. Now let's see how cloud computing changes the model. In AWS, organization pay only for the resources they actually consume. Let's see. In January, low traffic, low cost. Suppose Raj bookstore has very few customers in January. So AWS automatically provisions only the resources needed. So Raj pay very low cost, right? In March, exam season, increased demand. During examination period, student purchase more books. So AWS scales resources automatically and Raj pays slightly more. In October month, Diwali season, festival season, demand increases, peak demand. So website traffic may increases. So AWS automatically scale up their infrastructure to meet the demand. So Raj pays more during this period. Now December month, demand decreases, cost decrease. After the festival seasons ends, AWS scale the infrastructure back down. So Raj bill is also less. So your cost match your actual demand. Then AWS pricing philosophy, three golden rules. AWS follows a very simple and customer friendly pricing philosophy and based on the three golden rules. And this principle apply almost at every AWS services and help customers to optimize their cloud cost. Let's understand each principle using Raj online bookstore example, right? Rule 1, first principle, pay as you go. Pay only for the resources you actually use, like your electricity bill. If you use more electricity, you pay more. If you use less electricity, you pay less. If you are on vacation and use almost nothing, your bill become very less, right? So AWS works exactly the same way. If Raj runs server for 10 hours, he pay only for the 10 hours. And if he stores 100 GB data, he pays for 100 GB. Now, second rule, pay less when you reserve. Customers receive discount when they commit to using resources for longer period, like a gym membership. A daily gym pass cost 500 rupees per visit. An actual membership cost 20,000 per year. If you visit regularly, the annual membership becomes much cheaper. So AWS follows the same principle. The longer you commit, the larger your saving. Third rule, you pay less as you use more. Higher uses result in lower per unit pricing. Think about the buying books in wholesale. Buying one book cost per book is 500 rupees, but buying 100 books reduce the per book price 500 to 400 rupees, right? And buying 1000 books, so reduces per price book is approximately 250 or 300 rupees. So this concept is called volume pricing, volume discount, right? So three rules guides all of AWS pricing. Now, Raj first week, AWS Free Tier. Raj creates an AWS account, sign up the AWS accounts, and he gets the credit. And he expect to start paying immediately. But however, he discovers something surprises. This is called AWS Free Tier. And free tier helps the students, developers, startups, and organizations who have to learn and experiment with AWS without making a large amount of investment. So, AWS offers three categories of free tier. First type, if you create a new AWS account, free tier account, you get $100 in credits immediately once you sign up. As you explore the key services like EC2, RDS, you can earn up $100 more. That's up to $200 over the 6 months. So you have to um, get $200 credits up to 6 months. Then second plan, paid plan, some credits plus all services. Credits valid up to 12 months. Third plan, always free. What does it mean? Some AWS services remain free forever as long as usage stays below the specific limited times. For example, AWS Lambda. AWS provides 1 million free requests every month. So, Raj, first week cost 0. Now, Raj online store is live. After 2 weeks of learning, Raj website is live. Order starts coming in. Now he needs to understand how much will this actually cost me month to month. Let's explore AWS pricing model. AWS pricing model, first model, on demand. On demand pricing is the simple and most flexible of AWS pricing model with on demand pricing. On demand instance, pay by, first understand the Raj daily traffic is unpredictable, right? Some days 50 visitors, some days 500 visitors, and some days 5,000 visitors. So his daily traffic is unpredictable. So with the on demand instance, pay by hour or second. Suppose Raj launches a server. If the server runs for 1 hour, he pays for 1 hour. If the server runs for only few minutes, he pay for that usage. Here, no commitment, no upfront payment, no large capital investment, start and stop anytime. One of the biggest advantage of on-demand pricing is flexibility. AWS bill only the actual usage period. Analog, like taking an auto rickshaw, pay per ride. When you take an auto rickshaw, you pay only for your trip, right? You don't pay for the, you don't buy the auto rickshaw, right? And you don't pay the maintenance cost, and you don't commit to using the same auto rickshaw every day, right? Similarly with the AWS on demand prices. When should it useful? Based for, it's based for unpredictable workloads. For example, new startups, seasonal business, testing and development environment. Developers often create servers and test applications. Short-term and spiky uses, for example, marketing campaigns, flash sales, event registration website, festival shopping seasons. You can quickly scale resources up and down as needed. Then second model, reserve instance saving plan. Let's continue with the Raj journey. When Raj first launched his online bookstore, he used on demand pricing because he did not know how much traffic he would reserve he would receive. However, after 3 months, Raj noticed that his web his web server runs 24 by 7. The server is no longer temporary. It has become a permanent part of his business. At this point, continuing to pay on demand prices may not be the most economical choice. So, reserve instance prices and saving plans. So, what are the reserve instance and saving plans? So, AWS rewards customers who commit to using resources for a longer period. If you agree to use resources for 1 year or 3 years, AWS offers significant discount compared to on-demand pricing. This idea is simple. The more predictable your workload, the more money you can save. For example, here, this reserve instance pricing model, there are three options. Three options. First option, no upfront for 1 year. If you commit to using AWS resources for 1 year, this is suitable when cash flow is limited and your saving is approx 36 percentage. Second option, partial upfront for 1 year. If you want, you have to pay here, you have to pay partial amount cost in advance and the remaining cost pay monthly during the year. Medium commitment and approximately 42 percentage of the saving. Third option, all upfront for 3 years. Here, you have to pay the entire amount upfront for a 3 year commitment. Here, highest commitment. This can provide savings up to 72 percentage compared to on-demand prices. You have to pay only 28 percentage. For example, monthly recharge, your mobile recharge, right? Your monthly mobile recharge cost is approximately, example, 300 rupees, and annual recharge cost 3000 rupees. Let's calculate. For monthly 300 rupees, 12 months, approximately 3600, right? But the actual plan cost is 3000 rupees. You save your money because you committed for a longer period. So AWS uses exactly the same pricing strategy. This option is based for workloads that run continuously, steady and state workloads. For example, web servers, applications that serve customers every day, and database. Database usually operate 24 by 7, right? So it's based for web servers and database. Then, third pricing model, spot instance. Let's continue with the Raj journey, right? Diwali is coming. Raj needs lots of computing power for customers' analytics, but only for 2 hours. AWS data centers often have unused or spare computing capacity. Instead of leaving these servers idle, AWS makes them available to customers at heavily discounted prices. Customer can use this spare capacity through spot instance, but AWS can reclaim within 2 minutes notice. But the biggest advantage is up to 90% lower cost compared to on-demand pricing. So spot instance very cheap, but availability is not guaranteed. For example, standby flight ticket, super cheap, but no guarantee, right? So Raj Analytics job on demand is cost 500 rupees for 2 hours, right? And on spot instance price 50 rupees for the same work. So he saves 450 rupees for using the spot instance. Now, Raj asked an important question. Which pricing model is the best? The answer is there is no single pricing model that is best for every workload. The combination of different pricing model based on business requirement. This is called smart mix strategy. Let's look at the Raj runs his online bookstore. Different part of his business have different requirements. Therefore, he choose different pricing models for different workload. 4. Website servers run 24 by 7. So pricing model, reserve instance and saving plans, and saves approximately 40% or more compared to on-demand pricing. Reason? Stable workload should use reserve pricing, right? Then database runs 24 by 7. Pricing model selected, reserve instance saving plan, saving 40%. Then extra capacity during Diwali. Pricing model on demand. During Diwali, shopping season, flexible, right? For reason, temporary and unpredictable workload should use on demand pricing. Now, testing batch and analytics job. Pricing model, spot instance. These workloads run for short periods, can tolerate interruptions, can restart if necessary. Therefore, Raj use spot instance and receive discount up to 90%. Reason, interruptible workload should use spot prices. Then testing new features. Pricing model, AWS Free Tier or on demand. They don't know exactly how long resources will be required. Therefore, use AWS Free Tier whenever possible or on demand pricing. Reason, development and testing require maximum flexibility. So, no single model is best. The best strategy is a mix. And many beginners think I should choose one pricing model. However, experienced cloud architects know different workloads require different pricing strategies. Golden rule of AWS cost optimization is if your workload predictable, reserve it. Unpredictable workload, use on demand. Interruptible workload, use spot instance. Learning and text testing environment, use free tier. Now, 1 month later, Raj checks his AWS bill. He estimated his monthly bill would be 3000 rupees. He feels confidence because AWS uses pay as you go pricing model. However, when he opens his AWS bill at the end of the month, he sees something shocking. His actual bill is 11,500. Surprise his bill. Raj immediately asked how it is possible, what happened. After investigating the bill, Raj discovered that he made several small mistakes. Therefore, his bill is increased. Which mistake is done? First, during development, Raj created several test servers. However, he forgot to stop them. 3 servers continuing running. They remained active for 3 weeks. AWS continued charges because the resources were still being used. Second problem, unused EBS storage. Raj also created an additional storage volume for testing. Even after stopping the server, he forgot to delete the storage volume. This storage remained allocated and AWS continued charging for it. Third problem, higher data transfer uses. Raj online bookstore became more popular than expected. More customers visited his website. As a result, increased network traffic, and it also increased his cost. So, cloud computing is flexible, but flexibility requires visibility. However, if customers do not monitor uses, cost can increase unexpectedly. For example, think about electricity at your home. Leave the air conditioner running. Forgot to turn off your lights. Keep unused appliances plugged in. At the end of the month, your electricity bill becomes higher than expected. The electricity company didn't make a mistake. You simply used more electricity than you realized. Then your bill becomes higher than expected, right? Then AWS billing dashboard. After receiving the unexpected AWS bill 11,500, Raj realized that I cannot manage what I cannot see. To avoid future surprises, Raj needs a way to monitor his cloud spending regularly. This is where AWS billing dashboard becomes extremely important. So, what is the AWS billing dashboard? The AWS billing dashboard is the central place where customers can view and monitor their AWS cost, like a financial control center of your AWS account. Just as you check your bank account to understand your spending, you should check the AWS billing dashboard to understand your cloud bill. The dashboard provides the several important things of information. The dashboard shows month to date spend, your monthly date day by day spending. For first month of the day, 100 rupees you're spending, 10th of the month, 1000 rupees you're spending. So it shows your day by day spending. Then this dashboard displays which AWS services are costing the most. For example, services like EC2, monthly cost is 5,000 rupees. Amazon RDS, monthly cost 2,500. Amazon S3, cost 1,200 rupees. So, It shows your AWS services are costing the most. Then, free tier usage status. It also shows how much the AWS free tier have already used. For example, EC2 hours used, storage consumed, Lambda request used. Then spend trends. The dashboard provides graphs showing daily spending, your weekly and monthly spending, historical trends to identify the cost spikes, seasonal patterns, and unusual activities. So now Raj creates a new habit. After receiving his surprising bill, he developed a new habit. Every Monday morning, he opens his AWS billing dashboard, review his current spending, check for unusual charges, verifies free tier uses. He treats this exactly like checking his bank account balance. And his best practice, make it your first stop in the AWS console. Now, after receiving the unexpected AWS bill, Raj decided, I never want to surprise by my cloud bill again. So he asked Priya, how can I make sure I know when my spending is increasing? Priya says, use AWS budget. Think of it as a spending alarm for your cloud account. This introduces one of the most important AWS cost management tools, AWS Budget. It allows customers to define spending limits, monitor their cloud expenses, receive alerts before cost becomes a problem. So, instead of discovering overspending at the end of the month, AWS notify you while the spending is happening. For example, Raj set a monthly budget. He decides he set monthly spending limit is 5,000 rupees. He creates AWS budget. His monthly budget is 5,000 rupees. Now AWS continuously monitor his spending throughout the month and get alerts at threshold. Budget alert, first budget alert at 50% threshold. When Raj spends 2,500 rupees, AWS sends an alert. You have used 50% of your monthly budget. This is an early warning. You are halfway. Then second budget alert at 80% threshold. When your when is spending reach 4,000 rupees, AWS send another alert warning. You have reached 80% of your budget. Be careful. You are approaching your sending limits. Then third alert at 100% threshold. When spending reaches 5,000 rupees, AWS sends a critical alert. Budget exceed. His budget target has been reached. How are alerts delivered? AWS can send notifications through email, SMS, and SNS. Can AWS automatically stop resources? Yes, AWS budget can be configured or set up with automated. For example, if spending exceeds 5,000 rupees, AWS can automatically stop if you set up this action, right? Then, where is my money going? Cost Explorer. After setting up AWS budget, Raj successfully controls his monthly spending. This month, Raj receives his bill rupees 4,800 rupees. At first, he feels happy because the bill is below his budget. But then he asks an important questions. I know how much I spent, but where exactly did my money go? Knowing the total amount is not enough. Knowing the total bill, 4,800, is not enough. This is where AWS Cost Explorer becomes extremely valuable. Now, what is Cost Explorer? It is a Cost Explorer is a cost analysis and visualization tool. Instead of simplify some showing your bill amount, Cost Explorer helps you understand where money is being spent, how spending changes over the time, which services consume the largest portion of your budget. Here, breakdown. Raj opens his Cost Explorer and discover the following. Easy to compute, 2,400 cost, 50%. Half of his entire bill comes from EC2. Compute resources are his largest expense. Then RDS, database, it's 25%, one fourth of the total bill, 1,200 rupees. S3 storage, 10 percentage, 480 rupees. Then data transfer, 10%. Other, it's 5%. So, without the Cost Explorer, Raj only knows his bill 4,800. But with AWS Cost Explorer, he understands exactly where every rupee is being spent. Key features of the Cost Explorer. Visual breakdown, the cost. AWS Cost Explorer provides graphs and chart that shows spending by AWS services like EC2, RDS, S3, and AWS account, resource type. You can show it. Then historical trends. Cost Explorer stores up to 12 months or more of the cost history, you allowing Raj to compare current month versus last month, festival season versus regular season. And it also shows the cost forecasting. AWS Cost Explorer can predict future cost based on your current uses. For example, your current spending mid month is 4,000 rupees. Forecasted monthly billing 7,400 500 as per your current uses. So, you take the necessary actions and avoid the unexpected charges. And you filter by tax and region. Cost Explorer also allows filtering cost by tax. For example, production, development, testing, marketing, and also AWS region. For example, Mumbai, Singapore, US region, right? So this helps the organization understand which team spends the most, which product project consumes the largest budget, which AWS region is the most expensive. Now, the discovery, right sizing. Raj has started using AWS Cost Explorer regularly. One day, while analyzing his monthly bill, he noticed that something interesting. His EC2 instance is T3x large, but when he checks the performance metrics, he discovers CPU utilization is only 20%. Raj immediately asks, why am I paying for a large server when I am only using a small part of the capacity? So, this introduces one of the most important cloud cost optimization techniques, right size. What is right sizing? Right sizing means choosing a cloud resources that match your actual workload requirement. In cloud computing, bigger is not always better. Many customers initially chooses larger servers because they worry about performance. So here, Raj current server is T3 X large. Cost is 12 rupees per hour. When he analyzed performance metrics, he discovered CPU usage is 20%, memory usage low, network usage moderate. This means Raj is paying for resources he don't actually need. After reviewing the workload, Raj migrate to T3 medium and cost is 3.5 rupees per hour. So the application still performs perfectly because the workload never required the larger server. Key cost optimization strategies. First, right size resources. Don't provision for what you might need. Instead, provision for what you actually use. Don't over provision. For example, smaller EC2 instance, smaller database, appropriate storage size. Second strategy, turn off development and test at night. Production system runs continuously. However, development servers, test environment, training environment often do not need to run overnight. For example, if a development server runs 24 hours per day, but developers only use it 8 hours per day, then two-thirds of the cost is wasted. Schedule automatic shutdown can produce more saving. Then other strategy, cost optimization strategy is reserve instant saving plan. It's best for workloads that continuously running. For example, web servers, database, production applications. AWS provide discount when customers commit to long-term uses. Then cost optimization strategy, fourth strategy is delete unused resources. Common cloud mistake is forgetting resources. For example, unused EC2 instance, unattached EBS volume, load balancers, elastic IP address. Remember, if the resources exist, AWS may still charge for it. So remember, delete unused resources. Make a practice. Then, other optimization strategies, write storage class. Not all data needs expensive storage. Moving older data to cheaper storage. Classes can save more amount of money. So, Raj discovered that simply changes one server size reduce his cost by 70%, reduce his cost. No code changes, no infrastructure redesign, just better resource selection. So, best practice, cloud architect often follow the rule monitor, analyze, optimize, and repeat. Now, Raj business grows. 1 year later, Raj now runs three brands Kitabgar, books, original, second, stationery hub, office supplies, EduTech Corner, online courses. All these are separate AWS accounts. See three separate bills? Managing is painful. Is there a better way? Let's see. Consolidated billing AWS organizations. Priya, his friend, give him important advice for that. Use AWS organizations and consolidated billing. So, what is AWS organization? AWS organization is a service that allows compares to create multiple AWS account, manage them centrally, control security and governance, and consolidated billing. Like one company with many departments sharing a single financial system. Then, what are the benefits? So, benefits of the consolidated billing. First, without AWS organizations, Raj receives three different bills for all three different accounts. This create administrative problems, complexity. With consolidated billing, AWS generate one combined bill for all the accounts. This makes accounting easier, reporting simple, and financial management more efficient. Second, volume discount. Combined uses higher tier. For example, uh, Amazon S3 storage. Suppose Raj has three AWS accounts. Each account each account uses 25 TB each. So with consolidation, is pricing all three account prices at 1.89 per GB. But with consolidated three all the accounts, so AWS treat each account separately. So he charges 1.89 per GB. But with consolidated billing, AWS combined the usage 25 TB each account, 25 plus 25 plus 25, 75 TB combined. So now AWS applies volume pricing to combined amount. So first 50 TB cost 1.89 rupees per GB. And next 25 GB cost 1.76 per GB. So combined uses higher tier. Then third benefit, said reserve instance and saving plans. Suppose Raj purchased reserve instance saving plans for his one account. Without AWS organizations, those discount benefit only that account. But with consolidated billing, unused reservations can automatically apply across other accounts in their organizations. This improves resource utilization, cost efficiency, and savings. Then, per account breakdown still available. Fourth benefit, common questions. If everything consolidated, I lose visibility. Actually, AWS still provide detailed cost detailed cost reports for each account. This means he get centralized billing and detailed cost visibility at the same time. Now, planning ahead, pricing, AWS pricing calculator. Raj online business, bookstore business has now become successful. He has learned how AWS pricing works, how to optimize the cost, how to monitor the spending. Now Raj facing a new business challenge. How much money should I budget for next year for future planning? He does not want to guess. He wants to know the estimated cost before deploying new infrastructure. So, AWS provides the AWS pricing calculator. So, what is AWS pricing calculator? The AWS pricing calculator is a free web-based tool that helps customers estimate AWS cost before they spend any money, like a financial pricing tool for cloud infrastructure. Instead of deploying resources and waiting for a bill, customers can estimate monthly cost, annual cost, service specific cost, and regional pricing differences. What are the features of AWS pricing calculator? The calculator allows customers to free web-based tool estimate cost for 100 plus AWS services. For example, Amazon EC2, RDS, Amazon S3, CloudFront, Lambda, and compare AWS region, Mumbai region, Singapore region, US region, because pricing may vary region by region. Export export reports. The calculator allows exporting estimates as a PDF or CSV files. And this report can share with your managers, finance team, customers. So here we see Raj 2-year estimate with the AWS pricing calculator. EC2 reserve service is monthly estimate cost 3,200, RDS monthly cost 2,100, S3 500 GB is monthly estimated cost 950, CloudFront data transfer. So total monthly estimated cost is 7,350 and expected annual cost approximately 88,200. So compare with traditional IT. Raj compares the cloud estimation with traditional infrastructure cost. Traditional IT cost per month 1,37,500 per month and AWS cost estimation 7,350 rupees per month. So as a result, saving approximately 95%. This demonstrates one of the biggest advantage of cloud computing. You don't need to purchase infrastructure for future growth. Instead, you start small, scale whenever necessary, pay only for your actual uses. Then then at 2 a.m. site is down. Diwali night, peak order, website craze. Raj is panicking. He does not know what's wrong. What do I call? So uh, introduce another important service. AWS service is AWS support plan. AWS provide different support plans depending on the customer's needs, budget, and business criticality. AWS offers multiple support options. First one is basic support plan. Cost is free. Basic support plan is a free. This support plan is automatically included with every AWS account. Here, no technical support provided. And this plan is based for students, beginners learning AWS. Second support plan, developer support plan. Cost starts around $29 per month. This plan add AWS technical support. Response time approximately 12 to 24 hours. And it's based for development environment, testing workloads, small projects. Then business support plan. Cost start around $100 per month. Response time for urgent production issue less than 1 hour. This is critical because every minute the downtime affects revenue and it's best for production environment, growing business, e-commerce applications. Then enterprise support plan. Cost starts from $15,000 per month and this AWS highest level of support and response time for critical business support, the response time is 15 minutes and it's based for banks, airlines, healthcare systems, governance organizations, mission critical applications. So Raj choose the business support plan. He decide to buy the business support plan. Now he has 24 by 7 phone support, chat and email support, 1 hour response for critical incidents, full trusted advisor access. Now, 2 a.m. call, issue resolved in 30 minutes. Now, bonus AWS Trusted Advisor. It's another model. After purchasing the AWS support plan, Raj discovered one of the most valuable AWS tools. What is the AWS Trusted Advisor? AWS Trusted Advisor is a service that examines your AWS environment and provides recommendations based on your AWS best practice, like as a health checkup for your AWS account. Just doctor checkup, your blood pressure, heartbeat, overall your health. Trusted advisor check your cost, security, performance, AWS limits. So here 5 categories of checks. Your here trusted advisor check these categories. First one, Raj trusted advisor check the Raj categories. First found First he founds two unused EBS volumes. First cost optimization and found two unused EBS volumes. These storage volumes are not attached to any server, not being used and still generated charges. And monthly waste 400 per month. So Raj delete them and save money. Second category, security. Trusted advisor finding port open 2022. This means anyone on the internet can attempt SSH access to RAS server. So this represents a major security risk. So Raj immediately restrict access to authorized IP address. Then performance check. Trusted advisor find Raj database is becoming a overload. It recommend under upgrading that database instance, increasing capacity, improving application performance. This helps Raj avoid future performance problem. Fourth one, fault tolerance. Trusted advisor finding Raj has no database backup. This means if the database crashes, Raj could lose all the customers and order informations. Trusted advisor recommend enabling automated backups, creating snapshot, improving disaster recovery. Then service limits. Trusted advisor reports Raj has already used 80% of his EC2 service quota. This warning helps Raj request limit increase, plan for growth, avoid deployment failures. So think of trusted advisor, think of it as a health checkup for your AWS account. Or simply trusted advisor, your AWS health checkup and personal cloud consultant. Now, Raj Billing Toolkit Summary. Let's review the purpose of each tool and understand when it should be used. AWS Billing Dashboard. For purpose, see current spending and it provides month to date spending, service cost, free tier cost, and spending trends. When it used weekly. Then AWS budget. Purpose, receive spending alerts. Raj create budget alerts at 50, 80 and 100% of his monthly budget. And then automatically spends notification. and when it use, set once and monitor automatically. Then Cost Explorer. Purpose, analyze cost breakdown, analyzing spending. It provides service breakdown, trending analysis, forecasting, tag analysis, regional analysis. And when should Raj use it? Monthly. Then pricing calculator. Its purpose, plan for future cost. Raj uses is to estimate new applications, infrastructure upgrades, annual budget, and migration. And quarterly or before new project you can use. Then AWS Trusted Advisor. Purpose, identify waste and risk. It identifies the cost optimization opportunities, security issues, performance improvements, reliability concerns, service limit problem, and when should use it? Monthly, right? Then cost allocation tags. Purpose, track spending by project, team, or deployment department. This allows to see team spending, project cost, department budgets. When it use, always. Best practice, tag resources when they are created, not afterwards. So, Raj monthly cost management routine. Every Monday, check billing dashboard. Continuously, AWS budget monitor spending. Every month, analyze Cost Explorer and run Trusted Advisor. Every quarter, using pricing calculator for planning. And always apply cost allocation tags. Now, Raj complete journey. First month, free tier for learning, zero cost. Second month, on demand, website live is cost 3,000 rupees per month. Third month, surprise bill kit, right? Budgets and alert. Fourth month, cost explorer, found oversized instances. Fifth month, right sizing plus reserve. Here, 50% cost drop. Month 8, Diwali time, festival time, use spot instance, 90% of saving. Month 10, he opened 3 brand, consolidated bidding. Month 12, planning for future, pricing, use pricing calculator. Year 2, business support. Now, 2 a.m. peace of mind. Now, we have 10 key takeaways. We have completed our journey through Raj Cloud Economics and Billing using Raj Online Bookstore story. Before we conclude, let's review the 10 most important lessons that every AWS practitioner, cloud architect, and business leader should remember. First, cloud converts capex to opex, capital expenditure to operational expenditure. Mixed pricing model, on demand plus reserve instance plus spot instance. Start with free tier. Set budgets and alerts on day 1. Use Cost Explorer to understand spending. Right size, don't over provision. Consolidated billing, volume discounts. Pricing calculator to plan ahead. Pick the right support plan. And trusted advisor, free optimization. Let's remove this quiz. Now, your next step. Sign up for AWS Free Tier, aws.amazon.com free. Explore the billing dashboard. Set up your first budget at zero cost and try the pricing calculator, calculator.aws. and explore these resources. Thank you. Raj started with zero and built a business that scales to millions, all because of understand cloud economics. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. If you have any questions, please in a chat box, write in a chat box. Thank you.
If you guys have any question, you can ask to the ma'am.
It's too late, but still, thank you, all of you.
Okay, seems like there are no questions. Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am, for
Thank you,
teaching
all
us
of you.
about the finance because it's very important. The
Thank you.
beginners will not know about it until they try it for themselves. Okay, so now I will hand it over to the Achyut for the closing note.
Hello, am I audible? Okay. So as we come to end of the day, I would like to thank each and every one of you joining us today. A special thanks to Lisa ma'am, Nilesh sir, Dimple ma'am for sharing their knowledge, experience and valuable insight with all of us. We are truly appreciable for your time and support for our student community. I hope today's session gave us the strong and understanding of cloud computing and AWS cloud economics and billing, and more importantly, inspired you to continue exploring AWS. This is just a beginning. We still have a 6 more executing days ahead with the hands-on sessions on compute, serverless, global infrastructure, networking, cloud architecture, storage, databases, security, auto-scaling, and many more. Before we wrap up, now most important topic is certification. To be eligible for the AWS Student Builder Week 2026 certificate, you need to, if possible, attend the all 7 day of the event. Write one blog about your learning or experience during the event on the AWS Builder Center, or build a small AWS micro project that showcase your what you learned. Once you have completed, simply fill out the submission form and we will share with you. This is the great opportunity to not earn a certificate but also build your portfolio and also showcase your AWS skill. We have see you all tomorrow for the another exciting day of learning. The joining links and daily updates will be shared with the all registration participation via email. If you haven't registered yet, don't worry. You can still join us fill outing the form registration form, and we'll make sure they receive the all further updates and links. Until then, keep learning, keep building, and keep growing. Thank you everyone. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Archit, for the closing note. So the session one is over now. We are looking forward to see you all on session two as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.